Hey there, Pisces. Welcome to your reading for the week of May 19th. You have this Virgo card. It says details, details. You need to look at the details. Or no, it says you need to look at something more closely. What you need to know lies in the details. You also have this Hand of Fate card. It says everything is happening for a reason except the things to which fate binds you. Definitely a good time to focus on the details. I think I said this to you recently that if you're going to make a mistake at this time, it's probably going to be a very simple mistake. So, it's kind of like, it's not really like Mercury retrograde energy, but I would almost say that this week would be a good week to make sure that you double check everything that you're doing, especially with any like big purchases or anything. You might want to like have a person who can take a second look at whatever it is that you're signing, if you're, especially if you're signing something, because, just because. So I would definitely, make sure to double check what you're doing. You have the Sun, the Two of Wands, and the Knight of Swords. So this looks pretty good, actually, Pisces, especially with the Sun there. The Sun is the best card in the deck, and the Sun can represent joy, happiness, good things coming in for you. It looks like the other thing that I would say here, Pisces, just looking at all these cards, is it actually feels very focused to me, which is good. I think Pisces needs focus right now. I feel like focus could be just extra beneficial for you. So if you're like focusing on getting your camera straight, or if you're focusing on anything else, then I feel like working on whatever you're focusing on would be a good idea. The Sun is like a spotlight. It shines a light on things that are very important to you. And so it's kind of hard to describe, but the Sun is something in your life that's usually hard to ignore. And so you could find your attention being drawn to very important topics or ideas this week. I mean, I'm just really focused on all the Wands cards here. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, a little less than half the cards are Wands cards, so it seems like an action-packed week for you, Pisces, and I would say that taking action on the things that are important is what you should be doing here with the Sun. But it could also just be a very happy week for you. You could start to be feeling much better this week. Again, the moon, the new moon that we're going to be having at the end of the month on the 26th, which the week of the 19th is close enough, is really positive. So a lot of you could just be feeling more positive at this time. You have the Two of Wands. It's like I feel like you are like a bellow, for a fire. You know what I'm talking about? The thing where you blow air onto a fire. It's like I feel Pisces is breathing right now. Not like literally, but it's like I think you have these. It's like you have these moments where you feel super inspired and motivated, and then it kind of like contracts, and then maybe you don't, and then you do. It's like this breathing energy that I get off of the Two of Wands. And damn, Pisces, I hope that makes sense. But I feel like this is one of those weeks where it's almost like the air is hitting the fire. It's like the air, like you're really firing up or something is popping into my head. Very strange reading, but I like it for you. Like I need this. And I don't read for myself, but I definitely accept this energy into my life. It feels very motivated, like you're wanting to take the lead. It's like you're feeling motivated this week to move forward and make things happen. So again, I really like this energy for you. You have the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords, sometimes I feel like he gets to a part of the reading, and he's getting to the High Priestess here, and then he's almost running away. And so the High Priestess is you, Pisces. I kind of feel like this is saying, like, don't get scared of things that you're doing, because it feels like a big week for you, or it could be just an important week for you. And I kind of feel the Knight of Swords is saying, don't be afraid of your own power. But at the same time, I kind of do feel just good about the Knight of Swords. I feel like he is charging forward. I feel like you could be creating a lot of momentum. Like I said, it's almost like the fire is getting, air. Things are kind of picking up for you this week. So it could just be a very motivated week. But again, with this breathing energy, I would take advantage of that. I would make sure to, put extra work into things this week. And maybe that's what you're doing, is like you're having to learn to ride the wave of energy. Like maybe over the next few years even, there will be moments where you feel very motivated, and there will be moments where you don't. And I feel like this reading is saying, like, learn that energy, because if you do, you'll be able to take advantage of it. And that's what I would be doing with this reading. With the sun, you have the magician. Yeah, I feel like your manifestations could be on fire as well this week with the magician card. He is pointing kind of like this way across to the Nine of Wands, Six of Swords, Eight of Swords. This would really be about setting yourself free, but the Nine of Wands with the magician would be about experimenting. It's like you're going to have to figure out like what are the best energies for you to work with, what are the best ways for you to manifest, all that other stuff. So I would be working with that magician for sure. With the Two of Wands, you have the Moon. You show up like 3 times. You have the Moon, you have the High Priestess, and the King of Cups. So you are, this reading is all about you, for sure. And I think it's just saying that you are kind of like riding the wave of energy. The Two of Wands is standing at the top of his comfort zone, and he doesn't know what his next step should be. The whole point of the Moon is that the Fool gets to the Moon, and he isn't sure about this journey that he's going on. He's not sure if he's going to be able to, get to these mountains in the background. It can kind of represent fears. And, the Moon does represent fears, fantasies, illusions, but the whole point of the Moon is that the Fool has to kind of like go down this path naked. He has to be vulnerable. He has to be willing to kind of balance out his domestic side and his wild side. He has to not get distracted. So again, I think this week would be a great week for you to like, kind of pick something that's motivating you and just make it happen and take advantage of the energy with that Moon. With the Knight of Swords, you have the Nine of Cups. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, this is a good week, Pisces. I feel good about this. Nine of Cups is a like wish or wish fulfillment, good things happening for you. Nine of Cups is, as far as manifesting is concerned, the Nine of Cups, we have to be in the energy of what we want. We have to be the thing that we want to be before we can have it. So I think it would be a great week for you to act as if you already are what you're trying to be. But I also kind of just feel wish fulfillment on that Nine of Cups in general. Next, in the area of messages, this is what's coming in for you. You have this Let Your Intentions Be Known card. You have this other card that says Jealousy Leads to Downfall. I don't really see any jealousy in this reading. I would be careful of any like jealous people or anything like that. But, this could also just say like ignore it. If someone's being jealous of you, it's going to lead to their downfall. So I would just ignore it. The Let Your Intentions Be Known card, with the Magician and the Nine of Cups, we have to claim something. I always say the Nine of Cups, we have to be the thing we want to be before we can be it. So you have to act as if you already are what you say you are. And, that's what this card is saying. So, definitely something I would focus on with that energy. You have the Nine of Wands, the Ten of Wands, and the High Priestess. The Nine of Wands is like the Wounded Warrior. And the Nine of Wands is about putting up boundaries, but I really feel experimentation with the Nine of Wands. I always say this is my card of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. So we have to try a bunch of different things to get something to work. And if we try, then we will be successful. The interesting thing is that we go down to the Ace of Wands. He's holding on to one wand right here. You have one wand right here as well. So, it's almost like you are getting close to your reward here, Pisces. Like maybe you've tried to do something many times, or maybe you've tried to have something in your life multiple times and it hasn't worked. And now with the Ace of Wands, it's like you're getting another chance to, create something or have something that's going to really inspire you. You have the Ten of Wands. Again, I feel like you're very close to the end of a long journey. He's carrying these 10 wands. I like the Ten of Wands. He's carrying these 10 wands and he is burdened, but he planted those wands and he's about to reach his home in the background and have his harvest. So I feel for a lot of you that your hard work is really paying off, or it's like, it kind of feels to me like a lot of your hard work that you have been doing is catching up. Maybe you're finally getting the result of all the hard work that you've done. I get this feeling for Pisces as well, not just off of this card, but like the whole entire reading, that there could be some sort of leap that's coming in for you. And I feel like I've kind of said this to you before, but it's not like a leap. I feel like don't discount this is what I'm trying to say. It's like people might say to you like, oh, you got lucky. Like, let's say you become successful overnight. It's like people might say you're lucky or whatever, but it's like they don't see the 20 years of work that went into the success. And so again, that's kind of what I feel here is that some of you, it's like you could be finding success at something very quickly at this time, maybe not even just this week, but like over the summer, like something could come very easily to you in work or business or career or, pretty much anything else. But again, I think this is what people don't see, is like all the work that you've done to get to that place. And we have that card that says the jealousy leads to downfall or whatever. So again, you could be becoming very successful and people could be jealous, and I would just ignore it, with this card. But I kind of feel like you're getting to the end of a long journey with this Ten of Wands energy. You show up with the High Priestess, so very intuitive at this time. I would be trusting your intuition for sure. I would be listening to your inner voice. It's like I feel like your inner voice is guiding you with the High Priestess. The High Priestess is also the card of unlimited potential. She has no roof over her head, and the no roof says that there are no limits to what she can accomplish. So, really, it's a very fiery energy this week for you, clearly. And I feel like the reading is saying you need to really go for it and really kind of blow past your own expectations this week. And yeah, it's going to require effort. It's going to require you to do things and, put in the work. But I feel like if you do it, you will be very happy that you did. With the Nine of Wands, you have the Lovers. Definitely could be love, because you have that card that says, let your intentions be known. You have the Nine of Wands. Pisces, just looking at your love life astrologically, it's like, there have been challenges in love over the years. And so, you could be a little bit guarded with that Nine of Wands. But if you meet a person and you like them, then I feel like this is saying, let your intentions be known. There could be like true love coming in for you. It could be something that you've asked for as well with the Magician here. So, if you've been asking for a connection or asking for love, definitely could be new love coming in. Yep, with the Ten of Wands, you have the Ten of Pentacles. I'm telling you right now, there's like some sort of leap that's coming in here. And I'm not trying to be dramatic, but, it feels to me like, like I said, you've been putting in a lot of work into something. You've been, growing and learning for many years. And the Ten of Pentacles is, kind of building, leaving a legacy. It is ultimate wealth. Now, again, this isn't going to magically happen. You're going to have to do all the things I said. You're going to have to, push it to the limits. You're going to have to put in the work. You're going to have to, ride the wave of the energy of the air blowing into the fire with the bellow, like I said. When you have a week like this where you feel super motivated, do extra work. And then on the other weeks where you don't feel super motivated, take a break, rest, relax, recover, go have fun. And just know that there will be more weeks in the future where you do feel motivated. This is about, riding the wave of the energy. And I think if you do that, you will create the life that you desire. Ten of Pentacles, quite simply, is the ultimate vision for your life. It is like if life were perfect, which it isn't, but if it was, this is what it would look like, and it's going to be different for all of you. But this is about kind of like creating a system or, creating something so that you can have that life. With the High Priestess, you have the Five of Swords. I think you got in trouble in relationships in the past by not trusting your intuition. So, I think a lot of you need to like really make sure that you're paying attention to your intuition. I also feel you have nothing to fear in relationships, because it's like you do have that intuition that tells you what's right, what's wrong, what feels right, what feels wrong. And I think as long as you pay attention to that, you'll be fine. I do think there's a little bit of fear around love. For some of you. But again, like I said, I would heal it, make sure that, I think you just need to know that you have nothing to fear, that really your intuition has never steered you wrong in relationships. What has steered you wrong is not trusting it. And, that's kind of the energy I get off of this card. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have 3 cards. You have this Starfish. It says open to infinite possibilities. Yes, High Priestess. Again, she has no roof over her head, and she has infinite possibilities. The thing about the Starfish in this deck is that the Starfish, can move in any direction it wants. So if something isn't working, the Starfish can just move in a different direction. And I think that's something that Pisces has a hard time with. Maybe not really, but kind of, because of your astrology since about 2008. I think that this is basically teaching you, or I think the energy for a very long time, for years, since like 2006 or 2008, like somewhere in there. Really the peak was like 2012 for Pisces, of experiencing this energy. But it's like being willing to just move in a different direction, being willing to say to yourself, like, this isn't working, but that doesn't mean it's not going to work. I just have to, kind of move differently is the trick here. You have this flamingo spirit. It says, embrace the in-between. You have this panther spirit that says, reclaim your power. It seems to me like Pisces is reclaiming their power. A very powerful reading, like I said, and I feel that for a lot of you. The embrace the in-between card is probably this right here, the Six of Swords. The Six of Swords are moving on to calmer shores, and I feel like regardless of what's been happening to you for the past few years, you need to realize that you're being led to a better space. The Six of Swords, they're moving on to calmer shores, but they've had to shed their skin. They've had to leave everything in the past for the hopes of a brighter future. They don't know if the future is going to be bright or not. They don't know if they're actually moving in the right direction or if things are going to improve or any of that stuff. So, again, you might not know if you're going in the right direction, or you might not know if things are going to improve, but I feel like things are improving. And I feel like you need to realize that with the Six of Swords for sure. You have the Ace of Wands. Yeah, like I said, I feel like something's really inspiring you this week, or you're feeling very inspired. It's almost like a light bulb moment. Believe it or not, I would love for the Tower to come up in this reading, because this would be the perfect reading for a Tower, a Judgment to show up. It would really make this energy better, not worse, right? So I feel for a lot of you that you're feeling very inspired this week, and it's like an action-packed week, like I said. So I feel there's a lot of action, a lot of movement. On the Ace of Wands, this castle in the background is crumbling, and we have this wand here. It's out with the old, in with the new. So a lot of you could be really kind of doubling down on something new this week, or like a new project or new idea or a new direction in your life, and I would take advantage of it. I kind of feel you're going to feel motivated over the summer. Again, we've had a hard time since November, extra hard time. And now once we get past the 26th, things really start progressing, and I would take advantage of that energy. You have the Two of Swords. Two of Swords is like this or that thinking. It's like I'm hearing like final decision. It's like you need to make the final decision on who you are, and that's it. It's like there can be no going back, and like this could be this could be something where you finally decide like who you are, and you start embracing that energy of who you are. And that's, I don't know, kind of weird message on the Two of Swords. It is kind of a weird reading, but I would say in a good way. So I would, kind of claim who you are. With the Six of Swords, you have the Two of Cups. Yeah, there definitely could be like a perfect match coming in for you. I don't really like the sun and the sun and the moon, I should say, showing up in a reading. To me, the sun and the moon can represent two people who are just too different to be together. But this could be talking about a past person as well. So, you have that jealousy card, and if a past person is seeing you with a new person, that could cause some jealousy for sure. But I don't know. This looks very good to me as far as love is concerned. So if you're attracting something new, I think it'll just be a lot better. It's like I almost feel like this is something that you don't think exists, because of your past experiences, more or less. You have with the Ace of Wands, you have the Ten of Swords. It's like making that final cut, deciding who you are. Like I said, with that Two of Swords. Ten of Swords says something is dead, done, over with, but the Ten of Swords is a blessing in disguise. He's making the symbol right here, and it's the same symbol the Hierophant is making on his card. And so the Ten of Swords, we can finally realize that something that didn't work in our life was a blessing. And a lot of you could be, having that realization at this time. With the Two of Swords, you have the Fool. I mean, the whole entire reading is basically saying that you're taking this leap of faith towards a new beginning. Two of Wands in the Moon. The Two of Wands, he has to take a leap of faith and get out into the world. He's standing where he's always been on the Two of Wands, and he has to get out into the world that's in his hands. He's only looking at the world that is in front of him. He's not looking at this one right here. And so the Two of Wands is saying, like, it's almost like it's time for Pisces to prove that they are who they think they are. And so I think you are a person, or you think that you can do something, and now it's time to like get out there and prove it with the Fool by taking some sort of leap of faith. So a big, I don't know if this is like a change, or if you're just stepping into your power, like that Reclaim Your Power card says. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this Changes card. I just said I don't know if this is about changes, and you have this Change card. You also have this card that says Do Nothing on it. I feel like you are taking action this week, like I said. I think there are definitely going to be weeks where you're feeling low energy. Take advantage of it. Just realize that it's just a moment of time. I'm telling you right now, I think this summer, it's like you are going to have weeks like this week where you're taking action, you're doing things, you're making things happen. Then there are going to be slow weeks. And this is about learning to not panic in those moments where things slow down, is what this reading is saying. It's saying they're not slowing down. The universe is just giving you a chance to catch your breath. The universe is giving you a chance to heal and not burn yourself out. To me, you are creating a much nicer life for yourself. I think Pisces has been like spinning their tires for a long time. And now this is where the rubber meets the road, and you can finally take off. but there are going to be moments in pit stops where you have to stop and get gas, right? And that's what the reading is trying to tell you. So I don't know. There you go. You have the Eight of Swords, the Three of Wands, and the King of Cups. Eight of Swords is self-imposed restriction, but it's coming up in the good stuff. So I feel a lot of you could finally be not restricting yourself anymore. It's like you're finally moving forward, finally making things happen, finally taking action, finally setting yourself free from something. So I feel really good about that card. You have the Three of Wands. Three of Wands is like growth and expansion in the good stuff. It can also represent your ships coming in. And like I said, it's like, I feel like 20 years of work is finally catching up to you here, Pisces. It's like you're finally, taking action. You're finally getting results. You're finally making things happen. So I really feel this kind of energy of things finally coming in for you based off of all the work that you've done. And this is leading to clarity. I kind of feel sometimes there are no clouds on the Three of Wands. He can see very clearly the boats that are on the ocean in front of him. And so there is something about clarity for you that is popping into my head with this card. You could finally be getting clarity on like the direction you need to move in. The ships are coming in on the Three of Wands, but really the ships are pointing out of the harbor. He needs to get on those boats to go on an adventure. So, a lot of you might finally understand like what direction you need to move in life, or like what you need to accomplish, or what you need to do, what you need to be doing at this time. You show up again. So King of Cups could be Pisces. So you show up 3 times, which really says, the reading is all about you. It puts you in a position of power and strength and allows you to get what you want from the reading. The King of Cups has explored his emotions on a very deep level, and he's been through an emotional journey. He's had to learn how to deal with his emotions and how to process his emotions. So a lot of you have probably done a lot of emotional work over the years, and that could also be finally catching up to you, like in a good way. You could finally be understanding like how to deal with your emotions, which is good. With the Eight of Swords, you have the Eight of Cups. You probably are walking away from some sort of prison or something that has been keeping you stuck for a long time. I'm not really getting anything specific here. I feel it's different for all of you. For some of you, I feel this could be a belief system. For others, it could be something that happened to you in the past. For others, I feel it could be like a job or work that you're doing right now that's keeping you stuck. And, again, I'm not saying that you're just going to quit right now, but I do think that you could be taking the steps to be able to quit in the future. I always tell people, like, now is definitely not a good time to just quit a job, right? I would make sure that you get one first and then quit. But, again, you could be taking the steps to make that happen. What do you know? You cannot make it up. You have the Queen of Swords with that Three of Wands. I was feeling clarity. Queen of Swords is the card of having clarity for the first time. She has clouds only halfway up her body. She is looking into the future. She is finally clear on the steps that she needs to take right here. So you cannot make that stuff up, Pisces. I definitely feel that you are kind of like finally getting clarity for the first time. With the King of Wands, you have the Six of Wands. Yes, getting recognition, standing out, victory, success. I mean, all the good things with the Six of Wands. So you could really be having, or feeling very victorious this week with the Six of Wands here. You could feel like you're winning. Definitely feels like that kind of week to me here, Pisces. So I think things could be just, going really well for you. So it looks good. You have this Stork card. It says news of a birth or a new business opportunity. Ace of Wands, definitely birthing something new in your life. You could be building something new in your life as well. I feel like much more committed to it as well. This is like something that you're very sure of. That's like the feeling I get off of that Ace of Wands. Like I'm not sure. You're gonna have to tell me, but I don't know if. Sorry, didn't want to do that. I don't know if it's the Pisces in me that creates this problem or what, but it's like I have to be really sure of something before I do it, and I kind of get that feeling here with everything else in this reading that there's like something coming in that you're very sure of. You have this bridge card. It says successfully overcoming a problem. Yeah, I mean, the reading is definitely very positive, so you could be overcoming some sort of problem. You have this January card, and you have this diamond. It says you'll be receiving or giving a precious gift. So between now and January, there could be some sort of gift that's coming in for you here, Pisces. So that looks nice. You have this dog barking. It says advice from a friend. You do have these 2 love cards, the Lovers and the Two of Cups. So there could be, love could just be someone who's close to you, a friend that you love, or something like that. So there could definitely be good advice coming in. You have this feather. It says someone you know is undependable and insincere. I would be careful of people like this. This is probably like this jealous thing that's going on here. It's a very good week, but you know what's funny is like it barely shows up in the reading. So I'm wondering, if this is a person that you're not going to deal with anyway. So I would be careful of anyone who seems jealous or who's giving you weird vibes or anything like that. But other than that, damn, this is a good reading, Pisces. I love this. So there you go. Thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.